Tips, critique.
I can't help that.
Why does it maybe that you see kickers take such a big jump in the NFL? I always feel like, I don't know if this was legit. I looked at your stats. It said you were 10 for 22 your season year. First season with the Lions, you were 21 for 26. So I just wonder in general why you think maybe kickers are able to come in and take such a massive jump and, of course, improve throughout their career versus what they did in college.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that kickers are better in the pros because the snaps and holds are better. You get a lot more inconsistency in college with the snapper and holder. And, you know, it was always fun to take the credit when I made it. But, you know, when you missed, we're a unit. And so that takes all three, the snapper, holder, and the kicker. And in the pros, you get professional snappers and holders, or at least it's become that way. I think even in my career from when I started, they tried to use a quarterback, or they really wanted a lineman who could snap for the roster position. And so sometimes they would compromise, and it's gotten to the point to where kicking's a big deal. The games are close. You need points. So they've realized we have to have the best holder and snapper. And so that really helps guys come in and have the very best unit around them, makes their job easier. I think number two is sometimes in college, you get the hashes are wider. So you get kicks that are a little bit more an angle. And you get some tough college kicks when you get up close and you're 35 yards and you're really almost, you're not quite 45, but it can feel like that. Where in the pros, the hash marks are in line with the uprights. So you're a little narrower. It's a little more consistent kick. So I think those things probably are why you can have someone who's a really good college kicker and maybe didn't have the stats that you need. But in general, the better kickers did well in college too.
This is what I'll say about it. I could definitely blame my missing of field goals in that video on the holder. That's what I take from that. So I appreciate it. My dad would not hold it very well. That's what I'll take from that one. I also have a second one I want to kicking. Oh, dude, you need to see it. So if there's any way, let him see that, especially
Mike, do we have the video?
Well, we have the clip. Want me to play it?
Let's see it. Yeah.
All right, here's the clip, folks. We got we got to see what he can do here.
All right. Now I need to know what's wrong with the form. He looks good. Look. All right. You
didn't even set yourself. You didn't even set yourself.
Wait, there was a glitch in the video.
You see the shake too? You see the shake in the arms? Ooh,
okay, that was better. That was better.
You know what? That wasn't quite as bad, man. It just needed like 12 more feet on each side of the goalpost, and just got to widen the goalpost, man. That's all.
Tips, Jason. Tips, critique.
I can't help that. You're on your own. No, but definitely the holder. Definitely the holder.
Thank you. I appreciate
100%.
that. Actually.
So I do wide receiver Wednesday, so you can do tragic kicking Thursday.
There's a lot of clips we could use.
Yeah.
If I could ask a follow-up, I have an interesting follow-up. Was there a time, like, first off, did you have a soccer background? Because I know all of the guys that I know, they kick well, they all played soccer. And secondly, is there like a moment where, like, when you first do it, you're like, dang, this is kind of natural? Because I feel like my kick there didn't look very natural, so I don't know if I'm cut out for it. But was there like a moment you're like, man, I'm natural field goal kicker? Or was it just like a slow burn and it was like, hey, you eventually got there?
Yeah, so I was a soccer player, and all my buddies were football players. And I was really into soccer, wasn't into football. And so when I got to high school, boys soccer out west in 1988 was in the spring. So my fall was free. Soccer wasn't year-round quite as much as it is now. So my fall was free. All my buddies were football players, went out and played football. Got into my first couple meetings and was like, I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm not doing this. And so I went and kicked. That's what I knew how to do. And I was just kind of surviving off of the soccer kick. And then through the years, I've learned if you can kick a soccer ball, you can kick a football. But there's just one specific way you do it in football. So fast forward, 15 years later, I went back and my brother was a high school soccer coach. And I went out with the kids, and they were like, let's see this guy kick a soccer ball. And they gathered around, and they were like, he's going to break the ball. It's going to be amazing. And I hit it, and they were just like that video there. They were just ducks, right? They were just like sidewinder. They had awesome spin, but they were like totally like, they were like, what? This is this is horrible. Because the way I was kind of hitting it was I gotten so used to kicking a football just something with my foot. So then we put a football on a tee, and then it was different. You know, we kick it 5 times as far as the guys. So I had to learn how to kick a football from a soccer background. Walked on at Washington State. And then just through the years had some graduate assistants, right? You know, I got a couple at Washington State. They were actual kickers, helped me out a little bit, and just experience, learned how to do it. But yeah, it was a soccer background. And that was something I always could do. I wasn't like lightning fast. I wasn't like 4.2, 4.3 speed. I wasn't obviously, no, sorry.
You didn't run a 4.2.
Neither were you though, buddy.
Hey, don't even start.
Uh-oh.
I know what I just said.
I was a 4.33.
You were not a 4.33.
4.4.
No, you were 4.5 something.
No, come on, man.
Or were you?
Yeah, I was a. Hey, listen. I'm gonna talk to you after we're done here. Hey,
Jason chased down some
Wait,
players, made some tackles.
I could have. Okay, so I didn't have Herman Moore speed, but I could always kick a ball. That was weird. This is something I could always do. You know, and you find that with people that make it to the higher levels. There's a lot of things I learned. There's a lot of things people train and develop, but usually it's something that they could always do, right? To be, I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just saying to make it to the pros and you get to that level, it was something you could always do. I could always do that. So, sorry.
No, I just went back and watched a few of your film, man. When you were just. Dose and I, we teased about this last show, and you always cringe. I always thought it was comical. It was like Benny Hill for me, because I was like, when the guy breaks free and the kicker's got to get him, I go, this is going to be good. This is great Monday morning film. But not with you. I can honestly say it was like, Jason's going to blow this guy up.
For the record, I think I brought it up.
I went back and watched all your tackles, which there shouldn't be many for the kicker. But when there was, you all right.
But what I also brought up, though, was your awesome kind of play-by-play introspection, what actually goes on in your mind during that tackle process was one of my favorite Jason stories, when you would talk about what it was like.
We need pure terror.
And then after you would tackle, and then kind of, you know, that what everyone was seeing versus what you were thinking and feeling at the time.
Now that is true, because there was a good chunk of my career where I had secret pride that I didn't blow up too many people, despite what Herman said, but I usually got something on them, right? I could stop them or I grabbed them, and a couple times I hit them. But I remember we're playing the Packers, and they put Najee Davenport in as a returner. Najee Davenport was like 250. You don't see that on returners usually. You usually see, the guys that are fast and cut. Yeah. They were like, they told Najee Davenport, get the ball and go up the sideline, get us our 30 yards, and we're coming on the field. So this guy, he's a fullback, roughly. He breaks through. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I run over the sideline and makes a cut, and I hit him. I hit this dude, and we go down, and my face mat, my helmet wasn't tight, it kind of went to the side. But I literally get up, and I'm like, my first thought was, wait till they see that on film. That was awesome. And the crowd, just because you're the kicker, right, was cheering. So I'm like, they're affirming this was awesome. So we get into the film the next day. I had basically just grabbed his thigh. And he just kind of ran over me. And I looked like an idiot. And I remember, I think I even hit, I don't know if it was Muehlbach or who it was at the time. I was like, dude, watch this. And it was so embarrassing. I thought I hit him in the chest, squared him up. And so I'm not a football player, but I usually could. I get a hold of him or something. And
did it feel good, though? Did it feel good at the time?
Well, at the time, of course it did. There was another time, too, where we played Denver, and the guy broke free. And, again, you're on the sideline, they're still laying him, and he cuts, and I grab him. But as I grab him, all the pursuit had got there, too. And so, 8 dudes go over the top of me like this, and I get up, and I don't know what had happened, but somebody's, near hand had kind of got up in my face. And I, Novocaine from the dentist, I couldn't feel my face. I couldn't talk. And I go over to the sideline, and our trainer just walked up next to me, didn't look at me, and just kind of said, "You okay?" And I was like, I can't feel my fingers. I can't tell dudes that. That's like that's what happens to every play. But I literally was like, for a quarter, I was like, man, nobody interview me or talk to me because I can't speak. But that's the kind of stuff that happens to a kicker. Again, on film it looks stupid, but
Is that what you experienced when you got
I'm just sitting
tackled?
there going, man, I played the wrong position. It seems like all the action was over there in special teams. So I sold myself short. Plus, I didn't get to play. What did you play? Half century?
yeah, right.
Something like that. Something like that. No, it's
20
20 years.
years. Yeah, 20 years.
That's amazing. But I always tell people, I tease. I go, Jason would have probably been. I'm thinking probably top 1 or 2 in terms of best friends on the team. If I had known this version of Jason Hanson, we're more compatible than I realized. He probably thought I was a jerk. And I was sitting there going, man, this guy, he's not doing anything. He was over there playing around, golfing and kicking footballs and stuff. He's not doing anything. And but got to know this guy, man. Just amazing stories, hilarious as you could tell. I can say the word hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Well, the funny thing is, football, like kicking, I didn't perform well if I was loose. Like if I was joking. Some guys are great at that, just stay calm, relax, what's up on the sideline. I don't know, either I filled myself. I didn't do well with that. So I was a little more serious and like, man, this game could come down to me. I'm already nervous about it. I better just get serious for 3 hours. And during practice, right, I'm doing my thing. So just the guys who were like, you have a personality. Because it was like we were hanging around me when I had one. When it was football time, I tended to be a little more serious. So
Yeah, I did enjoy. I was telling the guys about the fact that I asked them, first of all, I said, do you guys realize how funny Jason is? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, I guess that didn't come across then. I don't know. But how, especially, when I was there, so I was there from Mariucci through Jim Schwartz. So you'd been there. And when things would get rough, or even when they were good, the media would go to you when they needed like the real answer, because you could say you have the credibility and you were able to pull from, all of your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird sometimes to be talking about the game as the kicker. I mean, I always knew, right, who I was and what I was doing, and try to gain the respect of the guys from just working hard, but I wasn't a football player like they were. So it was always kind of like awkward to talk about the game, right? and especially like the 0-16 season, I was the go-to guy, and I'm like, why am I the guy that's talking about this?
You really wonder why you were the go-to guy during 0-16?
Well, I didn't want to be the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the guy talking about it, and but I don't like pat athletic ansers. I don't like the whole, hey, you win some, you lose some, we'll go get them next week. Everybody's doing their job. It's like, what are you talking about? We were terrible.
Perfect.